Hello and welcome to a new astrological series. So to begin with, this is the plan for the design. So up on the top right, that was kind of done after I already had almost finished her, but she was kind of a big sister type, Capricorn, kind of in charge of the rest. So this started off ages ago. I would say about 2 months ago. I have been planning this for a very long time. And I'm using some wire to create the base for her ram horns. So Capricorn, as you might know, is kind of a sea goat thing. So it's got the ram at the head and then just a mermaid body. But I decided I didn't really want to make a mermaid, so I just kept with the kind of ram theme, even though, you know, another sheep is going to come along. And yes, I'm going to keep this reasonably thematic. So essentially I've curled, and you kind of have to plan this with the doll there, because you need to get the volume, the shape, the angle quite right. So I'm just doing the wire, and next we're going to pop into the clay. So I'm using Sculpey clay here, and I'm just kind of softening it up a bit. And yes, I'm using my clay plate, you'll see this many times, and I'm just flattening out a kind of even surface. Then I'm going to cut 2 strips out of that to curl around each wire horn. One important thing, see, there you go, I've got a specialised tool, and essentially you kind of want to make the horn but then leave a pokey bit to go inside of the doll's head, because over the Christmas holiday I got my dad, so maybe more than 2 months, maybe 3 months, I got my dad to drill a hole, well, 2 holes in her head for this wire to go through. And you kind of want to make sure the hole is too small and then keep it down. So I put this in the oven and cooked it for the regulated amount of time, and then I kind of put out a sketch of where I want the layers of the horn. So once you've got that, you want to get into the cutting of it. So I've kind of got this technique that I've developed where I use kind of just a flat knife to cut out ridges and grooves. You can also use it to like smooth, which is what I was initially trying to do, to just kind of make it all straight and perfect. At first, I was just trying to get rid of any extraneous bumps, not sure if that's the correct use of the word, and then I kind of went down at the lines to kind of put the indents, because if you've seen animals' horns, they don't tend to just be like a straight ridge, because nature. One important thing about this character is that Capricorn is the sign of public life. So she's, in my interpretation of that, she's kind of put together. She's someone that puts a lot of trouble and effort into her appearance. So I'm sure that she would keep immaculate care of her horns as like her most beautiful, like her aesthetic feature. And, you know, well dressed and all that as well. So I started off this repaint with the kind of half page I showed you at the beginning. So I had a character design, and from that I kind of developed an outfit and a face. So, I mean, the exacting thing of the face, because you can, when you're translating a drawing into a sculpture or a doll, you need to kind of rethink it. Sometimes things won't work exactly as you wanted because of sculpting or whatever. But I didn't have all of my supplies, so that's why she's got some quite ruddy cheeks and some lips that will kind of be muted down as we get more layers. But all of the character design is based on the star sign. So she's kind of, I said, kind of public life. She's kind of the older sister type to me, so I kind of gave her some kind of worried look, a kind of, you know, kind of watching over kind of a look. That was kind of my interpretation of the kind of Capricorn character. And yes, I did try using chalk pastels for the white of the eyes, but it was far too annoying. I'm not going to do that again. I might try with a very light acrylic white at the bottom, but maybe not. So it's December 22nd to January the 19th, people who are born then. And I'm sorry I'm about 3 days late to the party, to the end of that, but Aquarius is coming next and hopefully she'll be on time. So there are the eyebrows showing off the worried, watching look. So Capricorns are supposed to be feminine characters, which means they are constrained and kind of have inner reserves. So I kind of think that as kind of introverted, where masculine is extroverted. So I kind of, that's part of why I put her in a big sister, kind of like watching over, thinking, kind of someone that kind of worries about what could happen. And see, you've got yellow that I'm kind of interpreting from the fact that Saturn is the planet that's associated with Capricorn, which has yellow ammonia at its outer core. It also has a ring of ice, so kind of I thought that was like a held in character, kind of can be icy but it's kind to her family. And it also has a core of nickel and iron and rock, so I'm someone strong in the inside. And it's also the largest planet, so you know, big sister, watching over, strong personality, cold from the outside. I kind of tried to get that all in whilst keeping in, but also keeping in the fact that the kind of goddess associated with Saturn is agricultural. So that mostly is what informed the outfit, which initially was a shirt, long skirt, and jumper. So you can see the yellow and kind of rock nickel. I've kind of interpreted that in the eyes, and hopefully the rest of it is just interpreted from emotions. It's also the other fact that I have from research, from my research. I'm going to specifically reference one paper, which I'll link below, is that she's quite cardinal, so not really sure what that means. But I did when I was designing it. I'll add that here, you know, off the top of my head, but I'll add that in a definition here, and you can tell me whether I've also gotten that in the character design. I guess most of my character design is kind of the inward furrowingness from her eyes and her eyebrows, and I kind of just left the nose and mouth quite natural. I kind of emphasised the line of her mouth so that, sorry I'm out of focus by the way, I kind of focused the mouth lining downwards, oh here you go, and into the little mouth dimply areas, so it's kind of in a downwards shape. It's not flicking up, it's kind of straight and then a bit down. And while she's not a very older sister, I kind of got a bit of that stress, I think, or tried to get a bit of that stress with the kind of more wrinkly eyelid. Like usually I'll go for a kind of a one eyelid, and she kind of has a two layer, a straight layer and then a curve just above the very straight eyeliner eye. And also one thing is that I accidentally added a flick just to her eyeliner on the right eye, and then I was just like, yep. I mean, initially she had very straight eyes, but I think the slight upwards look gives her a bit of like, it's kind of a bit of intelligence, you know, a bit of focus, and makes her look a bit more sharp. In this repaint I had quite a lot less focus, I feel, like usual, maybe because I didn't really do it for a month or so, but I had a lot of problems with kind of contrast. I think it was definitely helped. It's not like my tiger, catfish, mermaid. It's got quite a nice strong eye and an appropriately strong mouth with the red liner, but I did quite well using white to highlight the eyelids and under eyebrow, but it went a bit wrong with the whole iris and kind of exploded a little bit. Like I went too far experimenting with the water, and I kind of ruined what I had already done with the colours in the iris. And this repaint was kind of very much a culmination of redoing the same thing, because I just did it slightly imperfectly. So this is kind of a fixing layer. There was actually about 20 minutes before this, just trying to make sure they're even, as always. You know, eyes are sisters, not twins, or maybe non-identical twins, not identical twins. And I think one of the main character points that I added at the end was kind of the 3 eyelashes. So she's got 2 on the outer corner and 1 on the inner corner, and I think that is going to be a style, not like a different number and a different placement on all of the Zodiac dolls. So she's going to have 3, the next one's going to have 2, etc, etc, and it's just going to be something that I will hopefully tie the sisters together. So originally the outfit, if you saw the character design earlier, was a long skirt, a shirt and a jacket. I made the jacket first, and then this is the design for the skirt. So it's a pleated skirt, and wherever there's a hole is where I'm going to pleat, or hole, like the smaller part, you'll see. And I'm just folding it over so that you get the fold. And let me tell you, I made a huge mistake in that I kind of sewed the skirt together before I pleated, like ironed in the pleats. So she does not have a very pleated skirt, but you can do better. I believe in you. And I think I made a reasonably good, you know, example of how to make a pleated skirt. So feel free, like it's just a rectangle and you'll be able to work it out from what you just saw. I, however, will not be able to give you the tutorial for the shirt, which actually I think turned out way better than I thought it would, because it is from Requiem Art Designs. It's a peasant shirt, kind of wrinkly, and you'll see. So what I'm doing right now is I'm sewing it down, and after that I'm going to use fabric stopper. So this is really important when making doll clothes, because it's so tiny that you really need to stop any fraying, and then just sew it together. And that's my done girl. So as you can see, I inserted the horns and I made her some hoof shoes, because, you know, keeping the theme, she should actually have a mermaid tail, but I ain't gonna go there. So I kind of played around with her hair. I kind of kept the original doll's hair because I really wanted brown hair, and I thought just the dash of purple brought a bit of colour that wasn't really present. Like, she's very muted and genial. So I'd like to know, if you're a Capricorn, does she represent you? If you're not a Capricorn, do you think I represented the traits well? And overall, I hope you have a lovely day, and thank you. Come again, guys.